Well, welcome back. This is the first race of the 2026 season for Pacifica Raceways, and this is the Masters 45 plus field open, so all categories. In addition, there's the women's field a little bit ahead of us, but they will be caught quickly and basically join into our group. And there's a new point system this year out at Pacific Raceways. It's up on the screen, so you might want to look at that if you want to see. Like the points go 10 deep instead of 6 deep this year. And here is the schedule. Looks like this year we are going to be doing a fair amount of variety in the course. So the course we're doing right now is the flat course. Um, then there's the escape route, and there's also the S-bends. So the escape route and the S-bends are back around behind the bleachers, which you can see the bleachers there on the left-hand side. All right. This is at the end of the first lap, and I noticed that Doug Davis on Hoggins Burmans was making a move, so I tried to move up a little bit and be ready to react. And I see Fell Swoop and Andrew Martin are following, so they're getting their wheel. This was a fun race. Beautiful weather as always out here. It seems ever since Brett's taken over the promotion of this event, we've had good weather, so let's keep that going for this year. Anyway, Doug is off the front. Again, this is just at the end of the first lap, and we are bringing him back. There were a lot of attacks in this race. Hoggins Berman was really active, especially Doug and Tyler Markegard. Seemed like they kept trading off attacks, so that kept it pretty interesting. Our speed wasn't as high, the average speed overall, but I think that was just because it was such an on and off race. We had attacks going and then people chasing it down, and then we'd have a little bit of a lull and there'd be another attack. So I noticed that there was a little group kind of up here. This is again jumping forward a little bit, and I thought I'd put a little dig in. I see Tyler's again off the front, Tyler from Hoggins Berman. When I go past him, I tell him, let's go. But I think when I look back around, when Tyler rolls through, I notice that the peloton is right behind us, so basically shut it down. Just told him, never mind. Unfortunately, then the peloton just kind of left Tyler and I sitting there at the front. I was hoping someone would come through, but as you can see, our speed is dropping off and the power is dropping off, and nobody's coming past. I definitely didn't want to be stuck on the front. I had decided I wasn't going to continue with that break, so no reason to be out in the wind, but again, we're down to 20 miles an hour and nobody's coming by. Well, one thing I want to point out is if you're looking at my power numbers, I think they're off by just a few seconds. I don't know, I couldn't quite sync them exactly, so apologize for that. Anyway, as you can see, they're still letting us lead the parade around, and we're now down to 18 miles an hour. 17. Come on, somebody, do something. All right, we're going to jump forward again, and Doug from Hoggins Berman again makes an attack. And I think that's Andrew Martin and Pablo from Rain City Racing are chasing them down. We've got a Fell Swoop here as well. I think the fact that it was the first race of the season out here and it was beautiful weather. We had a huge field. This was, for a Tuesday night at 5:30, we had, I think, 45 guys in this field, which is quite a bit. Typically, If we have 30, it's a big night. So again, there goes off on the left, Tyler making another attack. So Hawkins was doing a great job of attacking and counterattacking. Doug and Tyler were they they kept the pressure up all night, so that was great. But again, it was a lot of people out tonight, so that was pretty cool to see. But also that kind of meant that since we're on the flat course, everybody's still fresh, everybody's excited, weather's good. Didn't seem like any breakaways were really gonna stick. There were just too many people in the group that would be willing to pull stuff back. But I always find it's better to ride an attacking race than sit back in the peloton and do nothing. I think Hoggins had the most people in the race, which is fairly typical. But also, I think Fell Swoop and Taco Time had quite a few people, and as well as a pretty good contingent from 10 Speed Hero. 10 Speed Hero is a smaller team, but they race really well as a team, and I think they had four other guys in this race. Brake's been brought back, and we are going to skip forward again just a little bit. And I noticed Doug is going again, so I jump on his wheel. I think this was the highest power outage I've had all race, just catching up to Doug. Thought this might be a good move, but when I looked back, I noticed that we had some people with us. I think we still had a little bit of a gap to the peloton, but then I looked back again, and they were closing it down, so pretty much shut it down. And there goes another attack. I think that was James Gorkorian from Hungensperman. Got a 10-speed hero chasing him. At this point, I think I was gonna just let this one go for a bit. Seemed like there were enough people trying to get across in ones and twos that this would ultimately be brought back. And I don't know if they just weren't working together up front there, but they had a good group, and that came back pretty easily, so I'm guessing they didn't really want to continue on. I don't know. It looks like there's a couple still up the road, though. And then we got Andrew going again, so I figure I should just jump on his wheel. goes another attack. I think that was an apex rider. My goal in this race was really kind of just to stay up front and monitor the moves and try not to be too far back. I'm racing unattached, so kind of trying to get a sense of how to race on your own. Don't know if I quite have that figured out yet. Probably did a little bit too much work, but again, if I just sit in the pack and don't chase moves or try to break away, I kind of get complacent, and when it comes to the final sprint, I typically end up just not having the right mentality if I've just been sitting in the whole time. So for me, doing a few attacks at least is good to keep me in the mental game. Got Jerry there right in front of me on the yellow bike. He's on taco time. He's a really good sprinter. So he's someone to watch out for in the final. I think we're still working on bringing back that break that started with the apex rider. At this point, we're pretty much all back together. Jumping ahead again. Got Doug right in front of me here. I think there's a couple guys off the front, and I think that's who they're chasing down. I am not quite sure, don't quite remember if those guys were in your race, but I think they were. So we got people going off in 2s and 3s right now. We're getting towards the end of the race. Well, I guess we got about 5 miles, so a couple more laps. Looks like they got a pretty good gap right now, but this is the fastest section of the course. And so, it's kind of hard to get away here. Not doing too many watts, and we're doing 28 miles an hour. Typically, going through this section will be up above 30 miles an hour, sometimes closer to 40. I do think that most of the teams are represented up in this break, so I don't think Hoggins or 10-Speed Hero or Taco Time or anybody really has the incentive. So Joe Skokin on Movement Mortgage up there, he's the one leading right now. He's chasing it down. We got Pablo from Rain City, and I think he was the only one from Rain City in our group. There might have been one other, but anyway, he's helping. And I figure I'll put in a turn if I need to. Yeah, they don't quite have that big of a gap anymore. See a little gap between Joe and Pablo. I think I decided to go around here. Guess not. Still got a couple guys up front still trying to make that break work. And I decided this would be a good time for me to attack. And we see the 2 lap to go sign. So whenever I'm in a break and there's like 2 laps to go, like I just start and then they put the sign up, I always feel like it gives an incentive for the pack behind a chase. So kind of felt like this was going to be doomed as well. But there's Doug again from Hoggins. He's with me, so it's just the 2 of us. And I decided, okay, we'll keep rolling this and see what we can do. There's always a chance. And Doug is definitely a good person to have in the break. I think he looked back and saw a group of like 4 guys chasing us down. Yep, those guys. And we thought that that was Pablo from our race, but it turns out that that was actually a different race and they were passing us, so we had to neutralize. I think if we had known that that wasn't our race, we would have kept pushing harder. Might have been an opportunity to cause some confusion and get away that way. That happens a fair amount out here at Pacific Raceways, where a break goes and then the field has to neutralize because another group is passing them. So anyway, that was kind of a little unfortunate. So we are now being passed by, I think it's the 4 or 5 field. They were going fast. They typically do not pass us on this course, so they were definitely moving. Gonna jump ahead to the last half of the last lap. So here we are going into the final sprint. I am on the wrong side. I really wanted to be over on the left-hand side by the 10-speed hero train. They're the ones in the blue with the stripes. They're on the inside of the track, and I'm here on the outside of the track. I'm following James Kukwaran there on Hoggins Berman. I'm a little farther back than I would like to be at this point. Again, I'd like to be on the end of that 10-speed hero train, which is basically the first 3 or 4 guys up front there. They start peeling off and the sprint starts. And I am gonna I wanted to try to shoot this gap between this unattached guy and the axe guy on the left. And as I'm going through, the guy on the right kind of drifts over a little bit. And by that time, I didn't have a chance. Anyway, here are the results.